Yo, what up guys, MxgicIQ here, and today we're going to be playing Torque Drift 2. Now, this is personally one of my favorite games that I've played in recent time, and apparently it's been out for quite a while. This game was free on Epic Games for about a year now. I think it released sometime in October of 2023 over there as kind of like an early access period, and it's still in early access now, except it's on Steam, and it costs 15 bucks. It's currently on sale and usually costs about $20, and I think this game is every bit of worth it. But there's a problem. The game does have a little bit of a mobile economy.
Sound familiar?
Coming from the fact that the game is primarily a mobile game first and then was converted to PC in Torque Drift 1, which honestly I've seen a few videos on it and that game doesn't get that much love, and I don't think it was liked that much. And kind of unfortunately the same thing happened with this game, but I don't think it ever had to do with gameplay, because personally I really enjoy the gameplay experience. But we're going to get into that in a second. It mainly has to do with the fact that for a while some of these cars were literally NFTs. They costed anywhere from $150 to $300+ for Adam LZ's S15, which is kind of ridiculous and extremely predatory, and anything that has to do with crypto immediately turns people away. But in my personal opinion, I decided to look past that, and I purchased the game anyway when it released on Steam on November 28th, and recently I tried it yesterday, and I've been enjoying my time immensely. Like, honestly, it's crazy how much stuff this game has actually licensed. 13B? Son, they got Titan 7s in this bitch? Nissan. They got the LMGT licensed LMGT1s. You can buy coming soon. They have Valino tires coming soon. Okay, so they just got it, bro. They got every single they have licensed versions of the. Oh my god, they have 6 RX-7s. Hold up, wait. Even if you do nothing else but take pictures and customize cars and shit, is this not worth? Everything is licensed down to the lug nuts, to the clutch, to you don't even see that shit, and it's licensed. It's crazy. I actually really enjoy it from somebody that's really into certain vehicles like Chaser. Can't find it in any other game because for some reason, even in games that don't have licensing like Car X Street, for some reason people just don't want to add that car, unfortunately. So the only downside to this I'm seeing, and I think it's because the game's still in early access. Remember, the game is in early access, so everything I'm saying is subject to change. There's not a whole lot of body kits for some cars because I think that has to do again with the whole licensing thing. There's literally only a few parts that aren't licensed, and even those parts still have licensed counterparts. There's Torque Motorsports body kits for a couple cars, and some parts are Torque Motorsports, but it's just because they know you probably can't afford the WiseFab angle kit, which by the way changes the car completely. And one big complaint about this game is the game's economy. Also, they seem to have changed their prices a lot. But from my understanding, you can still purchase the NFTs on their website, but in-game to actually use, they are way cheaper. Also, all of the regular cars like that 180SX that cost 180 bucks and that GTR that cost 288 bucks are able to be purchased in-game with Tofu, which you can either buy with real money or grind, which isn't that bad. But I understand not wanting to grind for people that play drift games. I get it. I personally don't think it's too bad. I mean, I like a little bit of a grind. It's a little crazy, depending on how much they actually have for you to do. Personally, I've just been doing this tandem mission over and over and over again because it does give you 550 XP, and every 2 runs or so you get 25 tofu. So that's 25 tofu every minute 10 or so. As long as you're good enough to actually complete that every single time, it's kind of a good farm. I had no problem pretty much maxing out my Chaser, and I'm top 12 I think right now in the little drift leaderboard thing, and I hope to hit top 10 once I unlock some more parts because I'm definitely lacking on power. I think I only have 380 horsepower in my 1J. So yeah, but I'm loving it, man. The car sounds are better than Car X. They're not to the quality, in my personal opinion, of something like Need for Speed or even something as crazy as Assetto Corsa, which I don't expect, but they're pretty good. They're definitely passable. And the backfire sounds, oh my god. I absolutely love them. But besides all that, you're yeah, it looks good, it sounds cool, but how does it feel, right? Personally, somebody that's played Car X, Assetto Corsa, I've done some competition stuff on Gran Turismo for drifting. I haven't played Forza, but I would say it's somewhere between CarX and Need for Speed Drift mod. If any of you guys have played with Drift mod, shout out to my boy Jesus and JC, man, two goats of the modding community in Need for Speed. We hope to be cooking up something soon, so make sure y'all stay tuned for that. But yeah, it's something in between there. It's like CarX if you had to try a little bit harder, and it doesn't really feel like there's any grip physics in the game, but I haven't really gotten far enough to tell you that for sure. For sure, the only thing I really don't like is for how the game feels is when I'm tandeming with that AI in that event. For some reason, okay, every time I make slight contact with them, my car just comes to a full stop. Now, I don't know if that's because it's AI and not an actual player. I hope to be testing that with Dano sometime soon. And you guys will also see some wheel gameplay as well, because that's what I'm going to be testing next video. But as far as controller goes, this game feels great. And honestly, for 15 bucks, it's pretty good. In my opinion, here's how I would go about it. This is just my first of many, I guess you could say, tips that I'm going to wrap all together at the end for any developers watching. I see they're very communicative, by the way, which is amazing, and I love that. If you guys want to work together, let me know. I mean, I like some of these bundles. I'm not the richest guy in the world, but I mean, they're kind of cool. Long story short, man, number one, honestly, you can bump the price of the game up to 25 bucks, but make the grind easier. I think if you're looking for money to kind of, I mean, there has to be some way you're trying to get paid for all these licensed products. I mean, again, everything is, they have 5 to 6 alternate versions of the FDRX7 licensed. That's crazy to, like, that's amazing. Like, you don't see that in other games. Like, it's like if you had Gran Turismo 5 level of car, like, variants of versions, but instead of it being an all black interior, there was actually very noticeable changes from each model and spec. It's crazy. Like, it's actually good. The interior modeling is actually good. There's always something missing from all these other games. For example, like CarX is just a step down in quality in terms of car models and interior, but the physics and user ability and modability and community together is nice. Need for Speed, you have like little to no interior work, and you know, it's baseline if that. And then Gran Turismo, you had a lot of cars in the older Gran Turismos, but the interior work wasn't there. This game does multiple different models of the same car, but they're all noticeably different and detailed. It's amazing. It's very, very nice. Honestly, graphically, the game is very pleasing, but this comes at a cost. It's not very easy to run. Okay, I literally have basically the recommended hardware, which is a 3070, and I have an i7 12700K. And I will say that on medium graphics, every map ran fine except for Ebisu, okay? Ebisu has an optimization issue. I don't know if it's because it's so big, because it is kind of like a free roam open world between, I think, Minami, Ebisu West, and School Course. This map is also extremely detailed, as you guys can see in these pictures. I mean, it does look beautiful for the 20 FPS I can run it on Epic Cat. So I know we've been here for a while, and I want to wrap this up because I feel like it's starting to lead on a little bit too long of a video, and I haven't done one of these informational videos before, so I want to see how it does. And I'm going to give you guys more feedback as I continue to play and learn about the game using my wheel as well as my controller. But I want to hear some questions from you guys, and hopefully the devs can answer them or I can answer them, as like I said, they're extremely communicative. So hopefully we can get that done. I want to wrap this up with my 4 tips I would probably give the devs. 1, fix the economy, please. If you have to do that by adjusting the game price, I completely understand for the full release, because honestly, you're offering a lot of amazing content in this game, and I think it's worth it, but the grind in game has to be doable or you'll have players leave, like the CarX Street PC situation. As you see, they have fixed that, but it took a toll on the player base, okay? Number 2, you guys have to add a livery editor at some point. I think it might be already in the works, probably, hopefully. I pray that it is, because every single game needs that level of personalization with the vehicle. It helps the player to connect, especially when you have all of these licensed products and things and sponsors that we could use on the vehicles. It's going to be very nice to make replicas of cars that might not be already in the game yet. Number 3, maybe some cheaper alternatives to parts if you guys keep the economy how it is. More Torx Motorsport parts, because only the angle kit was the main thing I could see I could upgrade, or maybe even some salvaged motors, so maybe they have a little bit less horsepower, but they're cheaper and people can do the swaps that they'd like. Also, the last thing I guess I would say is just to polish up the physics and optimization a little bit more, man. There's a lot of things I could think of, but I don't want to keep it too overwhelming. I'd love to contact and keep discussing these things with people on the development team or other people that are interested and passionate about this game. I think it's a very, very cool game, and it deserves a lot more love than it does hate, because I think they've turned it around in terms of the previously bad angle I think people looked at the game at. So I hope you guys enjoy and look forward to more Torque Drift 2 content, as well as content from CarX Street, Need for Speed, and other looter shooters, because my channel is just as confused. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's MxgicIQ, and I'm out. Peace.